Get in here, Grandpa.
I'm trying. Alright, well, our camera's going to be skewed a little bit, but that's alright. So, it is a story so far. Welcome, Dustin, back to the show. We are doing a comics-themed show tonight. Some of these things that we're going to talk about, you guys may have already heard if you've been watching the show.
Might be slight spoilers. Should probably throw it out
Oh, definitely going to be spoilers. So, but a lot of what we're talking about, I have gone over in the show. There's definitely some stuff that I haven't talked about recently. First thing I want to talk about, you know about the X-Men, latest X-Men movie that's coming out, Days of Future Past?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the one they announced.
No, well, that's what I'm leading into. So that one, Days of Future Past, is going to lead into X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, that one should be cool.
I'm excited. I'm excited for both of them.
I'm wondering if they'll actually get an actor to be him or CG or what they're going to do there. Obviously, they'll have to have somebody voice him, but...
It's definitely going to be a combination of both. There's no doubt. I don't think you could do it as a normal human being playing it. I think you've got to CG it and make it big. So, what else we want to talk about? So, you've heard about the sequel to Man of Steel.
Yeah.
It's going to be Batman versus Superman.
And Wonder Woman.
They've got Wonder Woman in it, and I've heard rumors that they're possibly going to have Flash in it.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard they wanted dude from Sons of Anarchy to be the Flash.
Charlie Hunnam?
Sure. The guy that's going to be in 50 Shades of Grey?
That's not going to be in 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, changed his mind, huh?
Changed his mind, decided he wanted to stay with Sons of Anarchy.
Huh.
So,
as far as I know, they only have 2 seasons left.
Yeah, they're supposed to only go to season 7, according to the director, Kurt Sutter.
Huh.
So, well, the other thing that I heard is that I think they're going with multiple villains also.
Excellent.
So it's going to be an interesting movie. I don't think they should be calling it Batman versus Superman or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
Well, I think they should. Is what I think they should not do is call it a sequel to Man of Steel, because you're just throwing so many other elements into the movie. So I think if you're going to stick with Man of Steel and do a part 2 to that movie, I think you got to stay with just the Man of Steel and maybe do a cameo or two, but not go with what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and they did have a lot of references in the first Man of Steel that if you're not comic book savvy, you could have missed. Like,
definitely.
I mean, they had Blaze Comics everywhere, which in the DC universe is the comic shop that sells Booster Gold comics.
Yeah. They also had the Wayne Enterprises satellite that got blown up.
LexCorp everywhere.
Yeah, LexCorp was everywhere. So there were definitely a lot of things. And, I've only seen Man of Steel once. Mm-hmm. I still have yet to see it again.
When you watch it again, at the beginning, one that everyone misses is the moon of Krypton is actually broken. And that's because in the comics, the only other Kryptonian sent to the Phantom Zone is the one who broke it. But they actually got in detail enough that they're like, oh, well, it's the end of Krypton, so this would have happened already. So the moon's broken because of Jaxer is his name.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do. See, there's so much left over from Man of Steel that they have to make just a direct sequel to Man of Steel. I don't like the fact that they're mixing in all this other stuff. So.
Yeah. By the way, the last line of that movie was really cheesy. Welcome to the planet.
Oh.
I was just like, oh, geez.
Yeah. So, did you hear about what Marvel was doing with Netflix?
I hadn't heard that one, no.
They are actually, and this goes back to our conversation earlier off camera, they are doing 4 series direct to Netflix. And it's going to be Daredevil, I think it's Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage.
I like 3 of those, and I don't know who Jessica Jones is.
I don't either. I thought when I first heard the name, I thought that it was She-Hulk, but it's not. It's apparently some other character. But the other thing is that they're doing these 4 series. I think they're 13 episode series that they're starting off with, and then at the end of those 13 episodes, they're going to do a mini series called The Defenders, and it's bringing all 4 of the heroes into it. So it's going to be interesting. I have high hopes for it, especially with it being on Netflix. They have looser boundaries that they have to stay in as far as what's acceptable.
Yeah, instead of basic cable where it's, any kid could flick to this, so you have to be careful.
Well, even basic cable, though, is a lot looser than your regular channel. So, I mean, if it wound up on something like AMC or something, I could still see them actually producing a good quality product. But with it being on Netflix, I have high hopes. The other thing, what do you think about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? You been keeping up on that?
I have been keeping up on that. It's all right. It's just for what I think people thought it was going to be, it's a little slow.
They've definitely taken the slow burn approach to it. And I said this since it first came on. They're really just getting into it really slow, but that mid-season finale left my jaw wide open. And I'm
I haven't seen the mid-season finale yet, but I've seen. I think I'm 2 behind.
Got to catch up. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but it definitely is. It leads me to believe that the second half of the season is going to really pick up.
Excellent.
So, and as always, Arrow is just
amazing.
I mean, I watched the first episode only 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
And then you're like, catch up.
Yeah, and I mean, I was all in after the first episode, and I'll tell you, it's been awesome ever since.
You know what's funny is my best friend watches that show, and one day I said, "Dude, you hate comic books. Why would you watch that?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" He didn't realize Arrow was a comic book.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
don't see how you could not get that with the DC logo.
Yeah, I was, and this was probably 3 or 4 episodes before the first season finale, and I was just like, how do you not realize it's a comic book? I mean, he's a vigilante, and I mean, Huntress was in it. She even wears a mask.
Yeah, well, right at the end of every episode, you got the DC logo that flashes up, and you actually have the Green Arrow character there.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe that. I'll tell you, they hit the ground running, and that's the one of the very few things that DC has got going for them. I mean, that series, it's definitely a soap opera, but it is a soap opera geared for men and comic book fans. And
I'm glad they brought Deathstroke back.
I had questions. Because obviously in the comic books he's not dead, and so I was thinking, man, if they kill him off on this island, that is just a dumb move.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert, folks. Mid-season finale. Wow, it's starting to come together, and the fact that Oliver says, hey, this what I'm telling you about the flashbacks only happened in year 2.
Yeah.
So you still got a ton of flashbacks to go through.
3 more years of flashbacks.
I expect the series to be around for quite a while, to be honest with you. The way they're going.
I'm expecting somewhere around 9 seasons like Smallville had.
As long as they don't jump the shark, I think they'll be good.
Yep.
So, obviously you can hear the babies in the background there. Pay no mind to the man behind the curtain.
By the way, did you know Katie has never seen The Wizard of Oz?
Really?
You not. She's one of the few people I've met that has never seen The Wizard of Oz. So she wouldn't get that reference.
Did you see the Oz the Great and Powerful, the new one with James Franco? Oh. I thought it was pretty good. You should see it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I think I've made jokes like, how about some fire, Scarecrow? And she's just like, what? What is that?
I'll tell you, the Oz Great and Powerful, or whatever it's called, definitely good. Wizard of Oz, definitely dated. I think now that they've already made this one, they have to remake Oz, the Wizard of Oz. So back to Arrow, though. With the season finale, you had the debut of Barry Allen.
Yeah, pretty awesome. I liked him within the first 5 minutes of him being there, just because they did show off his brain quite a bit.
Well, the thing about him, about the guy playing him, is he came from Glee.
Yeah.
Everybody had questions about that. I was questionable about it, but after seeing it, I thought that he did a good job. So yeah, I'm excited.
I don't like to judge actors on their past too much because, for example, Ben Affleck, I'm being really open-minded about it. I didn't like Daredevil.
Did you see Argo?
No, I didn't see Argo.
I didn't think so. It's not a movie.
My kind of film.
Yeah, I saw it and I thought it was really good. I mean, the guy has got some chops. He can definitely act.
Didn't he direct that one too?
I think so.
Yeah.
He was also in one called The Town. I don't know if you saw it.
I heard about it because somebody I work with is a big fan of him. But
He was in that along with Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner.
Really?
So that's the only reason why I bring that one up.
I don't know if I've ever told you, but Jeremy Renner is actually one of the biggest critics about Hawkeye.
Really?
Yeah, they told him it was going to be different than it was, so he's not a fan of his role.
Huh.
Yeah, they told him he was going to be a hero, and he's like, I was a villain through the whole movie. Like, it's the last fight scene. He's a good guy.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I gotta say, I think that he does a fairly decent job.
Yeah.
So,
By the way, funny conversation I had about Daredevil. Somebody at work didn't know that the Ninja Turtles were tied into Daredevil. So I was telling them about it, and they're like, well, they're in the same city. Don't you think they would have run into each other? So I said, well, maybe Daredevil didn't see him.
Good point. So, but also, I'm still circling right back to Arrow, folks, because I still got a lot to talk about with Arrow. And if you guys haven't seen it, you got to see it. Catch it on Hulu Plus, I should say. Sorry, I'm seeing something off camera that was really entertaining. But anyway, catch up on it on Hulu Plus, and if you haven't seen it, I mean, we're definitely spoiling a lot for you here. So, along with the 2-part mid-season finale, you also got to see the introduction of Solomon Grundy, which I was really surprised that they brought him in as a villain. It'll be interesting to see if he actually... They brought in the guy that turns into Solomon Grundy, I should say, so it'll be surprising to see, and I really think they will turn him into Solomon Grundy and bring him back from the dead.
You know, with all the Ra's al Ghul talk going on, I was hoping they'd mention a Lazarus pit of some sort, but it seemed like everyone who dies and comes back, they're just like, oh, yeah, I died. Not, just kidding, I had some sort of technique, so I'm still alive. Like, use the Lazarus pit.
No, I think that he did. I think that Merlin... I think he did use it, Lazarus. He had to.
See, and when I saw him, that's what I said. But he's like, "Oh yeah, I slowed my heart." There's no way you did. You just got stabbed by an arrow.
Yeah, I think he had some people working behind the scenes and got him to the Lazarus pit. So, yeah, it's interesting to see him back. And obviously now we've just talked about it, Ra's al Ghul. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with him because obviously you're not going to be bringing Liam Neeson into the show. So, welcome Sora to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, look, what's that? You see you? I think he's captured.
And last but not least with Arrow, Deathstroke, although he's still Slade Wilson. Mm-hmm. But I love the fact that they revealed that he had the eye patch, so I can't wait to see the explanation of all that.
You know, I was kind of thinking they were going to make him alive with the whole hallucination thing, but the eye patch kind of cancels out my thoughts on that because the hallucination one didn't have the eye patch.
No, he didn't. So it's just awesome. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I
did like that. I believe Wintergreen was the bad guy from season 1 on the island, right? I believe so, but that's supposed to be actually Slade Wilson's partner, who they become enemies in the comics. You mean
the guy that was in the Deathstroke mask on the island?
No, the guy running the show, trying to start a war or whatever.
No, he wasn't. No, it was the other dude that was in the Deathstroke mask that was his partner.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wintergreen was just
way.
some evil dude.
Yep.
So
in the comics, Wintergreen was his partner, and then
no kidding. Yep. Well, maybe they'll reveal that later on.
Yep.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, moving on from that, have you seen the latest trailer for the Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I'm not a fan of Andrew Garfield, so I haven't even seen the first one.
I think you're missing out. I think you're really missing out.
I did see, what is up with Rhino? Is he a robot or?
No, it's a mech suit.
Huh.
It's going to be interesting. So I'll tell you, it looks good. I can't wait. But coming out of that, okay, it's actually, last episode, I think I said that it was actually Fox that was producing these movies. It's actually Sony. Sony has come out and said that from The Amazing Spider-Man, they're going to spin off and make a Venom movie.
No way.
And a Sinister Six movie.
Oh, excellent. Actually, I heard about Sinister Six. Excited about Venom, though.
Well, I've heard rumors of Sinister Six for a while, but I was thinking that they were going to put them into Amazing Spider-Man 3 and 4. But no, they're actually, and I'm sure that they probably will make their own appearance in those movies, but they're actually going to spin off to their own movies. But in the trailer of the latest Amazing Spider-Man, spoiler alert, if you watch closely, they're going through the Oscorp lab, panning around, and you see Doc Ock's arms, and you see the Vulture's wings, and they had a whole bunch of other stuff that was listed on the net, so look it up.
See, and I was kind of surprised by the robotic-looking Rhino, just because they put out the video game that's supposed to be kind of related to the movie, you know. And I actually played that, but they were making all of the animal-based villains were hybrids like the lizard. So Rhino was actually fused with a rhino, and Scorpion was actually fused with a scorpion. So I thought they were going to do that. So that's why I was like, I'm not going to see it. But if it's a mech suit, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to explain those. The lizard,
yeah, because he's
somewhat
trying to
plausible actually, but I just don't see how you could do any of the rest of that. So it's going to be interesting to see. I like to say, you need to see the first one. Even though you don't like Andrew Garfield, I think they did an excellent job with the movie. And that's all I can say about that. The other reason to see it is Emma Stone. There you go.
Yeah.
She's a great actress, very fine actress. Yeah, so it'll also be interesting to see what they do with Gwen Stacy, because in the comic books, spoiler alert, she dies, folks.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with her.
Yep, that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, you got to see the movie, otherwise you can't wait for it.
I'll read it online.
Are you a fan of Sin City?
I never saw Sin City. I always wanted to, but I never got around to it.
You need to see it because they've got part 2 coming out.
Oh, really?
A Dame to Kill For, which is from the comic books. So the reason why I bring that up is they are actually doing a TV series off of that. Let's see here, a couple of episodes ago. The Weinstein Company is actually going to be turning it into a series right after A Dame to Kill For comes out. So, definitely the first one was awesome. I mean, it was loaded with stars.
I heard it was good, but I've never seen it.
Did you go see Thor?
Yeah.
Thor 2?
Yep.
What'd you think?
Better than the first, I thought. I definitely like Loki's huge involvement in it. Loki's parts were a little predictable just because they were kind of playing his illusions up a lot, but yeah, I liked it.
Spoiler alert here, folks. So he cuts off Thor's hand? I haven't seen it. You can spoil it.
No, it's an illusion.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So it's a trick they do to essentially make it look like Loki's betraying him, and then he says, "Oh, here, I brought you a gift," and he gives the girl, whose name I forget, he gives it to the bad guy, and the bad guy removes the thing from her because it's going to kill her if it's not removed, but they don't know how. So once the enemy removes it, then the girl's safe, and Loki's like, "Hey, gotcha."
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
Well, it's definitely one I look forward to seeing. I just haven't got around to seeing it yet. Busy being a parent and all. But from that, the reason why I brought that up was the end scenes. So you got one with the collector.
Yep.
What'd you think?
I knew they were going to go with the Infinity Gauntlet. They're going to do it just because they showed Thanos, and obviously he uses the Infinity Gauntlet, and it was in the first Thor movie, so...
The reason why I bring up the collector is because of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah?
I'm excited for that movie.
I don't know much about it other than there's a talking tree, a talking raccoon, and a bunch of guys.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I think, Marvel has gotten their stuff together. They are, with all their stuff that they've got going on, I mean...
Yeah.
Movies everywhere.
If they could just nail the video game industry, they'd be golden. But DC makes better video games.
The other thing that DC does better than Marvel, up to this point, and I still haven't seen the latest one from Marvel, is their animated movies.
Yeah.
I mean, DC has been putting out high quality animated stuff forever.
Well, and I prefer DC Comics as well, so
Yeah.
I'm a little biased on that one, but yeah, I do like their animated movies. Under the Red Hood was pretty good, pretty accurate to the comics.
Is that the latest one you've seen?
No, that's just one of my favorites.
Oh, I was going to say Flashpoint was the latest one that's out.
I haven't seen Flashpoint yet, but Justice League Doom I think was the most recent one I saw.
Oh, need to see Flashpoint.
Have you seen Doom?
I own Doom. I own Flashpoint. So if you want to borrow Flashpoint, let me know.
I might.
Alright. What else do I want to talk about here? I had some other stuff to talk about, but now I can't think about it. Speaking of X-Men, going way back to the first of the video. And we're coming up on time, but we're going to let the video run a little long. So if it cuts off, we'll just make this a short two-parter. But along with the Spider-Man universe, they're also going to expand the X-Men universe. So not only are you getting more X-Men movies, but they're actually spawning off into X-Force.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and I think coming from Days of Future Past, X-Force should be a no-brainer because they have Cable in there.
Yep, Bishop and Cable from what I hear.
So Bishop is definitely in Days of Future Past.
Oh, is he?
I can't remember if Cable's in that
I had heard
series
both of them were going to be in.
but Cable is in X-Force,
Mm-hmm.
and Cable is after Bishop, and so
Yeah.
it'd be easy to transition into that, especially if Cable only makes a cameo or if he turns out to be a big part of this movie. They'll be able to transition, but they're expanding, and that's why I say that Marvel is just
like you said, even if he's just in the background for a minute. I mean, Colossus didn't have a huge part in the first two, but he was still there. You know what I mean? Well,
and that is one character that I think that they should have expanded on in the first three films. Hopefully now in these next ones they really start to expand on him.
Colossus is a popular one.
Yeah, definitely. So,
and I mean, removing Nightcrawler, I think, was kind of a bad idea, just because he's a big time with the fans. I mean, people love teleporting.
but in the the First Class, and I think in Days of Future Past,
they have Mystique and Azazel together.
Well, they've got to introduce him with them, but I think he was a part of the Days of Future Past storyline. I don't remember. I have to go back and watch my X-Men cartoon because that's the only time that I remember seeing him. But anyway, yeah, I with them starting the storyline over with First Class, they still have a chance to bring him back into continuity.
Yeah,
so I'm getting it.
Seeing that, what I thought was interesting is a lot of people didn't realize that Azazel was Nightcrawler's father, despite the tail and the teleporting. And it's like, well, then the blue comes from Mystique, so there's Nightcrawler.
It only makes sense, and plus Mystique is she's mother to I think Rogue.
Yeah, I think adopted.
I don't know how that relationship is because I'm not a big X-Men comics reader, but I'm pretty sure she has some sort of a relationship there. So
the only ones that I really know of are Mystique and Azazel, and then they have Nightcrawler and Rogue, and then there's Professor X and Juggernaut, and Wolverine and Sabretooth.
that was the thing that I thought that they got wrong with X-Men 3 was Juggernaut.
Oh yeah?
I thought they did a terrible job with him.
Yeah.
So hopefully they redeem him in a future movie and explain his powers better because they did a terrible job. So, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Kind of. I mean, the only thing that I'm going to say with Arrow is I don't know how they're going to, if they're ever going to call him Green Arrow, just because in season 1 they had that little bit where there's the whole council of rich people and they're like, oh, let's call him something else. And somebody says, how about Green Arrow? And Stephen Amell looks at him and says, lame. So now they can't really call him that. Cause
Yeah, but now he's switched from the Hood to Arrow, even though they still call him the Hood.
Yeah.
I think it was in this last episode, Felicity said he prefers to be called Arrow to Barry.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a natural progression.
I hope so.
Because now that he's calling himself Arrow, he's green, so somebody's going to make the connection, and it'll probably come out in the papers, Green Arrow.
Yeah. It seems like they're just avoiding colors in the names. I mean, you had Canary. They didn't call her Black Canary.
They just call her Black Canary.
Yep.
So, and that's the cool thing about this series is they leave things like Black Canary and the Huntress open there's no definitive end to those storylines. They just come in and go, which leaves it open for them to come back in at a later time.
Also, one last thing with Arrow. I don't know if you know this, but Laurel is actually supposed to be Black Canary. In the comics, Laurel Dinah Lance is Black Canary.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why they
made her sister. Yeah. When they first showed it in the preview, I was like, oh, cool, Laurel's going to get in. And I was like, wait, that's not Laurel.
But honestly, you know what? Laurel is, to me, she's a little too whiny of a character.
Yeah.
I think she has to die. I hate to say it.
I figure they're either going to kill Sarah or kill Laurel, but either way, one of them.
I think Brother Blood's going to kill Laurel.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think he's going to get close to her like he is, and I think he's going to end up killing her to get at Arrow. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see how it goes.
Yep. Other than that, I've got nothing.
All right. Well, as usual for our plugs, check out Where the Blacktop Ends. I don't have a book in front of me here right now, but it's written by John Mizell and Steve Stout. Look it up on Facebook. You can buy it off of Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. Also, check out KJ Photography. Look her up on Facebook. If you're in the northern Utah area, she does photography very well. Also,
she did my family pictures.
She's done mine several times. So, anything you want to plug?
Nah. Got nothing.
Well, all right. There you have it. This has been Story So Far. I'm Aaron.
I'm Andy.
And we'll catch you next time.